Hello Year 6, thank you to Mrs Kerr for the other day. I didn't have any voice, so Mrs Kerr stepped in and helped me out. I'm going to take you through pages 25 to 34, so just sit back and relax and just listen to the reading for the next part. Page 25, the 5th of June 1514. I met that jumped up little squirt Thomas Wolsey this morning. I've never liked him. He's only the son of an Ipswich butcher, but he's really come up in the world. He's been made Archbishop of York. He told me Louis VII has decided to make peace with the new Pope, so the war with France is over. The governor's on his way home, and his sister Mary is going to marry Louis as part of the peace treaty. Poor kid. She's only young, and Louis is over 50 and a right weed. Wonder how long he'll last. Page 26, 3rd of February 1515. Bit of interest in reading in the paper this morning. Son gossip. King Louis VII of France collapsed and died on the 1st of January after 82 days, or to be more exact, 82 nights of marriage to Mary, sister of our beloved King Henry. The word from the French court is that his last words were, "Ooh la la." This puts Mary in a bit of a spot, as she is no longer Queen of France. Now Louis is dead. My sources indicate that she has been making eyes at Francis, Louis's nephew and heir, but he is not interested. Page 27, 10th of October 1515. The governor came round today looking a bit sheepish. I could see there was something a bit different about him, but I couldn't think what it was. He looked down at his legs and coughed. My eyes followed his, and I let out a whoop. The governor looked all anxious and said, "Do you think they're all right?" His hose were as tight as if they'd been painted on. His hose being his tights. I said he looked very stylish, and he went off looking pleased, leaving me to wonder what on earth made him want to look like an overweight turkey. I found out later that the governor is dead jealous of Francis, the new king of France, and some creep, to get in the governor's good books, told him he had better legs than Francis, so he started showing them off. He's even changed the way he walks. He goes about with his feet splayed out to show off his muscles. He looks like a duck, waddling about the place, but I'm not going to tell him, and nobody else is either. A right royal fashion victim. Page 28, 17th of December 1515. I keep waiting for Thomas Wolsey to slip up, but the little squirt goes from strength to strength. First, the Pope makes him a cardinal. Last week he had all the toffs in court, round his place, bowing and scraping to his cardinal's hat, and now the governor has made him Lord Chancellor. So he's got the top jobs in both the church and the government. I really don't know what the governor sees in him. All this seems to be going to Wolsey's head, but one false move and something else will. My axe. Page 29, 18th of February 1516. I knew as soon as the governor came in this evening that it wasn't good news. Everyone knew the Queen was expecting again, and we were all hoping that it would turn out all right this time. He had a swig of sack, and I asked him if the baby had died. "It's worse than that, Chopper," he said. "It's a girl." Page 30, 5th of March 1516. I met the royal nursemaid out walking little Princess Mary. I had to stop and admire her. Then I looked at the baby. Ugly little thing, even for a baby. Face screwed up in a temper, nasty sickly complexion. She screamed the place down. I didn't know I was that scary, and then puked all over her pram. "Lovely," I said. I've been trying to cheer the governor up, after all. At least now he's got an heir, and if the Queen has a boy next, he'll be the heir. The governor won't have it. He just mooches round, looking gloomy, and every time he sees the kid, he shudders. Page 31, 20th of May, 1520. I'm off to France. Not just me, of course. I reckon the governor's taken everybody but the palace cat. He hates the cat. He got an invite from King Francis to come over for a summit meeting, which is just another way of saying big party. The governor is determined to outdo the French, so he's taking 5,000 of us to put on a good show. This is okay by me if the governor wants to give us all a holiday with free wine and all the frog's legs we can eat. Who am I to argue? Page 32 and 33 is actually a letter that Chopper writes to his mum. So page 32. Tower of London, 26th of June, 1520. Dear Mum, just got back from France. Blimey, what a carry-on. The governor and Francis had arranged to meet near Calais. They're calling the meeting the Field of the Cloth of Gold because the governor had his tent made out of gold cloth. The whole thing was just an excuse for the governor and Francis to try to outdo each other. On the first day, the governor wore out 6 horses going over 1,000 jumps. Talk about boring, but of course we all had to clap like mad. Page 33. Then it was archery, and the governor kept hitting the bullseye from over 200 yards. He did pretty well in the jousting too. The trouble was, all this success went to the governor's head. Before lunch he sang out, "Brother, we will wrestle," and he grabbed Francis and started heaving and grunting away. The French started protesting that it wasn't fair because the governor was bigger and heavier, but 30 seconds later the governor was flat on his back at the Queen's feet and our blokes were shouting foul. Of course, the governor had to laugh it off and congratulate Francis, but I saw the look they gave each other. Whatever you read in the papers about trust and understanding between our two nations, don't believe a word of it. The governor and Frank hate each other's guts, and if they get the excuse, they'll go to war faster than you can say 2 falls, 2 submissions, or a knockout. Your loving son, Watkin. Page 34. 17th of May, 1521. Had to chop the Duke of Buckingham today. It was all that little rat, Cardinal Wolsey's doing. Old Buckingham was a genuine royal, blue blood and all, which was one reason why the crabby cardinal couldn't stand him. Wolsey accused him of treason, having tortured and bribed Buckingham's own servants into giving evidence against him, then rigged the trial. The old boy didn't have a chance.